Gonna be a theme song. It's a theme song. Gonna be a theme song. It's a theme. Yeah. Blinded by. Welcome to the only geriatric gaming podcast, The Aged Gamers. I'm your host, Pfarcus. The P is supposed to be silent.
And I'm your other host, Wide-Eyed. All of the letters clearly pronounced.
Including the died. So what is the time? What? I'm reading the notes.
A few moments later.
What?
A few moments later.
It's like when you leaned in, you were like, eh. You're clearly trying to... Oh, that's so funny.
So, Wide-Eyed, what is the topic for today?
Well, have you just bought an exciting new console that you can't afford? Just been around another game, you got no games to play, and now you need to have games? Well, we have an episode for you, because that's basically what everybody just did. So yeah, the topic of today is going to be like, did you buy a console, new console, and are you staring at a wall of old games to play because, you know, you bought an Xbox and there's actually literally no new games, or maybe you just hate Demon's Souls. And
It's the only new game that's out there, really, is Demon's Souls.
Pretty much. So we're just going to discuss 5 games each, that we think would be good for each of the systems. So it's going to be like Wide-Eyed covers the PS5, Pfarcus covers the Xbox Series. Sort of the games that we have on the radar that aren't exciting new games, because there are none. Well, there are for me, because I'm a Dark Souls fan.
They're good games, but they're just games that'll tide you over until the actual next generation of gaming.
Yeah, the games. Yeah. So why don't you just drop us a freaking like, sit back and relax, just freaking relax, enjoy the show. Yeah. Enjoy the show. All right.
Sleep deprivation for the win.
Okay.
So we'll start with the Xbox Series 6 and the games that I've been playing to tide me over. Number 5.
What's your number 5 most exciting game that you want to get for the Xbox?
Gears 5. Gears of War.
Literally 5. That's a. You didn't pick that on purpose at all.
I didn't actually.
Actually, that's really funny. Look at my other one. It's also a 5 one. Anyway, sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah.
Why do you want to play this crappy game?
Because it's awesome.
It is actually pretty cool. I'm a little jealous of this one. I am a Gears fan.
I'm a huge Gears fan, and Gears of War 4 I felt like was a good game, but it felt like a little bit samey. Gears 5 does this weird thing with open world where you get this weird snowboard attached to a upside down parachute thing that takes you. It's really weird, and it's actually kind of fun to scoot around and launch yourself off cliffs with this thing. And pow! It's exactly the sound it makes. Patow. Patoo.
I was looking for something to throw, but I don't want to throw anything.
We're just. Yeah. We don't have to be pure chaos. True story. So that's my number 5 is Gears of War 5. I highly recommend it. It's actually built specifically, well, I don't want to say built, but optimized specifically for the Series X and Series S. So
hopefully we hit a lot of those targets. I mean, not every choice. We haven't restricted every choice to that definition, like or that specific of a thing, but it should be hopefully more times than not, because you do kind of want to see what the new hardware is capable of. So
yes,
good to show off that. And so my number 5, number
5
is also a 5th game in a series, and it's Devil May Cry 5, the special edition specifically, which I know is kind of cheating because they did actually specifically have bumps up for the next gen as well. So I mean, but it's still a last gen game bumped up, and I guess the newest one has like cool features. You can play Virgil and some different things. So I'm excited to check that out. I totally missed it. I know you played it last gen. You kind of said it was a good game. So there's so many games. Some games just fall off the radar then, and now it picks back up. So it's exciting to me to try it. Because I am a Devil May Cry fan. Like, I liked 1 and 2 a lot. And I played, what was the other, DMC?
It was just called DMC.
Reinvention.
I actually liked that game a lot. The critics kind of hated it, but
it wasn't bad. I think it was like, I remember when I first got my PlayStation, you were like, you gotta play this guy. And also, it was cheap at the time, and I think it was like...
I think it was mostly because I loved the soundtrack. Like, it had
you were big onto it, and so...
Puppy agrees.
Yeah, it's all about that. Also crying, probably, to pee, but who knows. So yeah, that's my 5th. I don't really know a lot about the game. I know the action looks superb. The graphics look like it's nice, and
the graphics are really well. In the original, they were really good. So I'm kind of curious.
Yeah,
they obviously beefed them up.
So hopefully that'll be one of the ones I enjoy over the. I guess because we don't really know when new games are coming out, right? It could be.
They say a lot of them are just 2021.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't know if we'll get anything. So you might need a few things to glass into the. I'm sure things will be popping up in January, like for sure.
I'd hope.
Yeah, because I mean, it seems like an awful long time to go from November into like
to next November.
And there be nothing but like old games. That seems kind of silly, but yeah. So that's number 5 for me.
Number 4. So number 4 for me is actually another Gears of War game. Don't worry, the whole list for mine is not just all Gears games, but
it's kind of thematic though.
This is a game that I just got into that I actually really like. One of my favorite types of games is turn-based strategy games, like the XCOM style, Mario Rabbids, Mutant Year Zero, those kind of games. And Gears actually threw in their version of it in a game called Gears Tactics. It kind of seems weird to see a Gears of War game in this style, but when you actually sit down and think about how the Gears of War games played, where you're hopping from cover to cover.
Yeah, it always felt like paintball.
Yeah, so like the idea of a turn-based strategy kind of does make sense in the world, and even when you go to like pop a shot, it actually just goes to normal Gears camera.
Yeah, because even normal Gears was somewhat strategic. Like you said, in that feel of you'd be right in the right cover spot. You kind of have to transition to the next cover spot in the right timing, and kind of was that element. So you're right, kind of a natural progression.
Yeah.
Probably more so than even Halo. I know Halo tried to go that route, but it feels probably a little bit more natural in this.
It does, actually. Just because Halo was so action-oriented, and I hate to say it, but it was more skill-based than strategy-based. But whereas Gears was always... Like, I remember playing even the early Gears, if you had a bad strategy, the game would just brutalize you.
Slap you. Yep. So, and that game, it looks really good, to be fair. I like a good strategy game too, and from what I saw when I was at your place, it was pretty slick. Like, I liked the transition. I liked the homage to like the traditional play, that when you go in on the action, it like goes like almost like a Gears game. It's like you're watching it like close up, and I thought that was a really slick shift in perspective. I hope this is a good sign for those games in the future. Like, I hope they kind of keep up with it. Although it could end up being like one of those pieces where they just use it to fill story gaps. You know what I mean? Where it's like, but I'd still be okay with that. It's good enough.
Yeah. Hold us over.
Well, it's over. So my number 4.
Number 4
is Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War. I'm like kind of on the fence with this one for a couple reasons. I think I noted last episode that it was 190 gigabytes. But I am curious about certain aspects about it, so I might just jump in, even just to play it for a little bit. And that's, I really like the idea of the haptic feedback on the triggers with every gun has its own feel. That seems kind of super unique to me. So, I think that's, Black Ops is always, like the original Black Ops was a lot of fun to me. Like, they had a kind of a soap opera-y kind of storyline. It was like just your typical action fare, but like it was really well done. And the set pieces were great, and so I heard this has all the single player flares of the old one, like, so you can pick up, play it as a single player game, and then the multiplayer part of it had some critiques, but overall I think the only critique was that it just doesn't do anything new. So if you like just the old COD formula, you're gonna be happy. And I actually tend to like the traditionalist kind of COD stuff. Like, I really like the new Modern Warfare that just came out. So I'm kind of hoping that it does stick to the more traditional side of things and just gives me more, because I like that. Like, I don't need to. I find like COD strays too far. That's when I get uninterested.
Yeah, like the spaceship one they had a while back.
And so the immersion is really where it's at for me. I don't know if I'd consider this game, other than the fact that it's an immersive piece, but I think it's kind of also the only shooter that's really, kind of next gen-y. I know it's not, because it came out for the old gens and all the other things, but like it sort of is, because its release window was around the same time, and it does have perks to the new system. So I'm kind of pretty willing to give it a try. I think I'm right about there. So number 4, COD, Cold War, Black Ops.
Number 3, what you do with a drunken solar? 3, what you do with a drunken solar? 3, what you do with a drunken solar? All night in the morning. That was my pirate impression. So my number 3 is Sea of Thieves, or as non Eastern Canadians would say, Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, yes. I quite enjoyed this game on the Xbox One. It's basically a pirate simulator. I quite liked. It's weird to say, but I quite liked the water effects. There's something about like a lot of the effects the game had that really made you feel like you could almost smell the salt in the air, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of curious what the next generation kind of has to offer. I haven't played it yet, but it is on Game Pass.
A lot of fond memories of that game. Just us.
Yeah.
Because
we'd throw puke buckets at each other randomly.
Yeah, I mean, we used that game to hang out when we were apart, like distance-wise, couldn't hang out for real life, so we'd just get in here, sail about, chat about what's going on in life, and occasionally fight a pirate.
Yeah.
Or fight off pirates was more likely the case. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun, because there's actually a lot of mundaneness in that game, but it's like, it's so pretty. Like when you're on the water, and it does do a good job of simulating what it wants to do, which is literally like I think you said it one time. It was like it's this different type of storytelling that goes. It's almost like, what is it called? It's
emergent.
Emergent, yeah, where it's like you're just sort of developing it. And so you can actually live your life, play this game, and then a story just pop out of nowhere, which is often what happened. Because we'd go in, we'd be hanging out, and we'd just be like, okay, let's go sail our ship. We'd decorate it up, and we'd go out and get it going, and we'd crash a few times, laugh, and then all of a sudden, we'd just be sailing the ship, and there wouldn't be anybody, and we'd just be talking. And then all of a sudden, some asshole would pull up and try to take us over. And oftentimes, we sucked because we'd only play every now and again, but it was always fun. It was, no matter what, it was always fun trying to figure out how to take them out.
And the Kraken would show up and take us all out.
Yeah, or we'd always come up with weird strategies, because we'd always be the little guy, because it was usually just the two of us, and then so we'd come up with this galleon of 4 other dudes, and we'd be like, oh, let's take them into the pit, the galleon, the Kraken
shoot
pits.
ourselves out of cannons and try to run into their brigs.
Or take them, try to lure them into the dangerous domains and stuff just to get away. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Good pick.
So that's our number 3.
That's a good pick. My number 3.
3 would do it up, get shot.
Is kind of a traditionally already a well-established game. I don't think it will surprise me. It's Bloodborne. I heard it was kind of nice on the new system, no load times, all that stuff, and I'm really eager to kind of pick back up. And that one, it was like you and I, when we used to talk about the Bourne games, I was always a diehard Dark Souls fan, and I like Bloodborne, but I didn't get as hooked out of the gate out of it. And I think it was partly because I had a lot of other games going on at the time, and I didn't really co-op it with anybody, so I don't think I really gave it a fair shake. And I have it, I kept it, I always meant to go back, but the backlog is real, people. So I actually kind of might come back to it on the next gen and actually give it a good go and see if I can beat it.
I'm a little jealous of the idea of playing that game without any, because part of the penalty of those games when you died wasn't just that you'd lose your points or whatever, it was also that you had to wait through a loading screen.
Yeah, and they were fairly lengthy too, so, even if you were because you'd load up and you'd have to find someone to help you if you couldn't take it by yourself, right, or whatever, and so, yeah, it can be a bit, but I'm actually pretty excited, and I guess it got a little boost. I don't know if it got a PS5 update per se, but I know that I think it might have. For some reason, I feel like it has. I could be totally wrong, but regardless, it apparently looks way better and operates way better, and I think it might just because of the frame rate. So the boost is doing well. So that's my number 3, Bloodborne.
To my number 2.
Do.
It's 2 of the numbers.
It's bigger than 1 and less than 3.
Yes. So my number 2 is a game I never really got into a lot of racers. And I feel like every now and then you just kind of want to play a type of game you haven't played in a long time or never played before. And so for me, that game is Dirt 5. It's actually a little bit of a cheat as well, in the respect that it kind of is in that time frame where it was kind of built for the next gen, but it is
like
released on both.
COD. Yeah, in that way.
Yeah. But I've heard that it's a lot of fun to just off-road race in this game. And, you know, and sometimes you just want to drive a car through a swamp. So you just want.
So it is an off-road racer.
It's an off-road racer, yeah.
But it's cars, right? It's actual cars.
Yeah, it's cars. Yeah, like it's kind of like. So yeah, that was the thing. Whoops. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Dirt.
You Dirt. Joe Dirt.
Yeah, it's just a mud bogging kind of racer thing. Yeah.
Exciting. All right. Is that it for you? That's number 2.
I'm not going to have much to say for the next 2.
Because you know nothing about
I know
that?
nothing about it.
I'm in the same boat. So, number 2 for me.
It's 2 of the numbers.
Is Days Gone. Exciting point on this one is it's free. Because I bought a PS5. That's nice.
That is the
best price is free. Yeah. So it's definitely on the to-do list because it's free. And I ordered it. But, so yeah, I've just been always curious about this game. I like a good horror survival. And it kind of had murky reception at first. I don't know if there was bugs or something, but people really kind of like... It was one of the PS4's exclusives that I think kind of went under the radar. But I've watched a lot of things about it recently. And they are saying they got way better over time, like with the updates and and different things that happened. And so I guess now it's like some people are saying it's like even top 10 of the exclusive list. So I really feel like I missed something there. So now I don't have to feel like that because I'll play it and it should be good. I mean, I from what I remember, is like they had the most amount of zombies in ever in a thing. I watched a few things where it was pretty impressive, like where the horde was like chasing him or whatever.
For the horde!
Yeah. And they were kind of crazy. So I'm excited about that one. That'll be on. That's up there. Like it's basically when I beat Demon's Souls, that's what this list takes off from, essentially.
So games to make you okay with having finished Demon's Souls.
Yeah, sort of tied me over to, I guess, Cyberpunk, because that's probably the one that we all get anyway.
I think that's the next one I'm talking about.
So that's number 2 for me.
Number 1.
Uno
is
the lowliest number.
So number 1 for me is a game I keep on hearing getting recommended for games to tide you over pretty much everywhere I look. And that's a game called Forza Horizon. Pretty much Xbox and Forza kind of go hand in hand.
Nobody argues that was, I guess, the best race game that ever made, and everybody just like, if they ever had a racing favorite, like when Forza became a thing, it was like just took it over.
Yeah,
I remember Gran Turismo used to be everybody's jam, and
not
when
Forza
came around. When Forza came around, it was like nothing else existed for racing.
This was Gran Turismo, and this was Forza.
Yeah, pretty much. Beer.
This is what we do instead of working. I shouldn't say
we do both. We do this and work.
So that's my number 1.
Well, folks,
it's down to this.
The best game on both lists.
Possibly.
I don't know, but it's definitely the best game on my list. I picked it up today actually, because it's the number 1 game I want to try out. Right after Demon's Souls, actually, and it's
Uno is the lowliest number.
The Ghost of Tsushima, or Sushi Goats.
We call it Sushi Goats.
We do, And the reason I picked that up is because apparently it's a gorgeous game on PS4, and everybody said it was the game of the games, and I just totally had other games to play, and so I never got to it, but I always wanted to play it, and the perfect excuse is a brand new system to make the most of it. And apparently it got a little bit of a, I think it might have got like a update for the new system. I don't know if it needed much of a revamp, because it came out kind of on the cusp, really the tail end of the next gen, so it's already kind of next gen.
Yeah.
It's just more next gen now.
Next gen.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I know a lot about the game in terms of at least the style. I know that it kind of has a mix of stealth, and the action is very close to the Batman Arkham sort of Assassin's Creed kind of fighting, which I've always been a fan of.
Heard there's a little bit of Sekiro in terms of like the parrying.
That'd be
stuff.
cool. Yeah. It's probably a bit of a mishmash of all these games to some degree, but all the games that I've heard that it's a mishmash of, it's a good mishmash of. I'm like, good choices.
Mishmash of, we're taking a bird.
Yeah, and so I'm super excited. That's going to be after Demon's Souls directly. And yeah, I'm super excited for that one. I don't know hardly anything about it other than it's like samurai.
There's goats and
century,
sushi.
and there's goats and sushi.
It's called Ghosts of Sushi.
Jam the goats into the sushi.
Yeah.
Ate it.
You ride a goat and you eat sushi. That's the game.
Yeah.
And that's our list.
It's good. Yeah. So that's our list. Yeah, that's our list. List of games. Those are the games that will tide you over in this barren wasteland of, like, as if a barren wasteland exists in gaming. Like, the backlog is real. That's like our one big thing, and it's there for a reason, folks. So, you know what? We may have jammed on these two systems the last couple of videos about not having any new games or what have you, as much
so many games
but
in general.
there's more games than people even know what to do with right now. So, only thing is Microsoft probably should have had something to show up the new. That's the only critique.
Yeah.
Not that they needed anything more than just one title.
It's raining games. Hallelujah, it's raining games.
So on that note, why don't you drop us a comment about the games that you enjoy, or that's tiding you over to the next gen, or that sort of thing, and tell us about it in the comment section below.
What you playing? Let us know.
Tell us. Let us know. We'll either like it or we won't like it. Maybe we'll love it.
So remember to like,
Comment.
subscribe.
Blah.